What is the dumbest way you've been injured? Checked into a hotel in Saipan at 1 a.m., took an Ambien, which a friend gave me, to sleep due to the time difference. Half hour later, didn't feel tired, took a second. Half hour later and totally gooned on Ambien now, didn't think it worked, may have taken a third. At some point I went out on my balcony to smoke, had my path blocked by a patio chair, stepped on it to go over it, wobbled and stumbled over the balcony railing. Fell from the 4th floor balcony into a concrete planter below. Broke my pelvis in 5 places. Perfectly fine now. Should have died that day, statistically speaking. I fell asleep drunk while watching a movie on an older laptop. The fan was right next to my knee and was blowing hot air on it for many hours. Woke up with a large gross blister and horrible burn. I now have a scar I can press together that looks a bit like a veg. By sitting. I was working from home if Friday, and all of a sudden, my leg goes numb. Got up, to find I can't put weight on my left leg. So now I am hobbling around on crutches. Because I presumably sat for too long. Wait, you can sit for too long? Yup, it's called deep vein thrombosis. It can be fatal. It's literally sitting still for so long your blood clots. If the clot dislodges and travels to the brain it causes a stroke. There are cases of this in healthy adults with no cholesterol issues. Just getting up to walk to the bathroom every few hours is enough to keep out of danger. I was drunk and tried to climb a big fat tree by hitting its trunk with an ice axe and pulling myself up. The first 1 meter went okay, but then the axe stuck in the tree and I was struggling to pull it out until, well, now I have a forever visible scar on my forehead. The explanation I gave the next day to my boss. When I was about 13 I went on a bike made for 5-year-olds without shoes on. My toe got caught in the bike chain and it pulled all of my skin off my toe down to the bone as I rode down a hill. Edit, glad you all enjoyed my story. Fun fact, I lost so much blood I passed out after this and hit my head on the washing machine, giving myself my first concussion, lol. So I was playing Kinect Sports with my brother in the living area. The area is flanked by 2 sofas on either side. In my excitement I didn't notice I had inched towards to the sofa on the right. As I was taking a penalty in the football mode of the game, my inner Ronaldo awakened, and I absolutely smashed it. By absolutely smashed it I meant my leg, as my full swinging leg connected peak power with lower and harder part of the couch. Props to my mom for not bursting into tears with laughter while my sobbing I explained to her how I got injured. Once on my birthday I got really drunk and tried to open a bottle of beer. Alas, a bottle opener was a staggering 2 steps away, so instead I grabbed a steak knife that was right next to me and hinged the bottle open against my thumb. The cap was a little tight, so I put more pressure on the knife. Then I slipped and stabbed myself right in the face. I bled everywhere and thankfully missed my nose by about a millimeter. Instead of getting medical attention, I threw a few tissues on it and spent the rest of the night drinking and playing video games. My nose just healed on its own. I was fine by the morning. I'm just glad I didn't get my eye. When my kid was younger she was taking a bath. She was old enough to be left alone, but I would still leave the door open and I was in the bedroom next to the bathroom so I could hear her. Out of nowhere she lets out this blood-curdling scream. I of course take off running and plow right into a bookshelf. I just kinda bounce off it and get to the bathroom where kid is now laughing and splashing. See, I'm partially blind in my right eye and had recently moved the bookcase to the wall between the bathroom and bedroom door. In my panic I forgot about the shelf and didn't see it because it was on my right. I hit it so hard I bruised a bone in my shoulder. It took about 2 years to heal because I kept re-injuring it. Still 6 years later and I still have twinges in it. Drinking beer, standing in a circle talking with friends. Someone said something hilarious and I belly laughed and doubled over at the waist. I guess bending over that quickly pulled a muscle in my butt. I couldn't walk for days after. I had to rub icy hot on my own butt just to make it to work with a massive limp. Humiliating. If this doesn't get bumped to the top, these injuries were a waste of my damn time. My father-in-law owns a small box trailer. This box trailer was /is cursed and has a vengeful hate against me. 2015, loaded up the trailer with rubbish to take to the tip, unloading said trailer and lifted a heavy box and made a 180-degree motion to throw out and dislocated knee. Lots of screaming and panic, ended up slapping my knee back into place and being taken to hospital in the back of an ambulance. 2016, almost to the same date a year later, approximately a week out, I borrow the trailer in question again. Father-in-law jokingly but also seriously says please don't F yourself up on it. I laugh. I have loaded the trailer up with rubbish to take to the tip. I am strapping down the load and jump across the drawbar where I slip and a bolt goes inside my leg, resulting in a nice 3-inch transverse gash to my shin that is down to the bone. This resulted in another ambulance trip to the hospital and surgery. Needless to say, I am banned from using the trailer ever again. Was 11 years old in the early 2000s. Jackass was in its prime and I felt inspired. My buddy grabbed his camera to film me jumping off of the roof onto his trampoline and off of that into his pool. I never made it to the jump. I approached the edge of the roof, threw up the peace sign, said "totally cool dudes" and paid no attention to my footing. I stepped on the effing gutter and fell straight to the earth like a meteor. I shattered my wrist into a bunch of pieces that required surgery and an arm cast that went up to my shoulder. I also sprained my neck pretty badly. Don't be me, kids. Thank God the video was lost in time, because the internet would have had a effing field day with the hilarity in the video. Let me set the scene. It's night, the light has that black white blue quality of edging onto early morning, the blinds are shut and my vision is hazy. There's a white body pillow on my bed, and a white bookcase next to my bed. I'm tired, I need to go to the bathroom. I go, do my business, and I go back. I have a huge smile on my lips because oh how cozy that body pillow looks right now. I know it's warm under the covers and I'm going to go back to sleep while hugging my body pillow. My mind has erased the existence of my bookcase. I stare, I dash, thinking I'm going to throw myself on the pillow. I dash, I crash, right into the bookcase I've mistaken for my comfy pillow, and I break my hand. It hurt like F and I laughed like mad, because it's not the first time I've been injured in really dumb ways, but it is by far the dumbest. It still brings a smile to my lips. Idiot. A few months ago I got second-degree burns on my hand during a cooking class because my partner was kind of clueless, and I decided not to drop a hot bowl that they had handed. We were frying beef, and each pair of groups were supposed to transfer their beef to a shared metal bowl once it was cooked. Well, the group pair we were sharing the bowl with was extremely slow in transferring the beef out. They ended up leaving their metal bowl right next to a gas stove for a minute or two while they slowly scooped pieces out. When they handed it to me, they grabbed the cool end that faced away from the stove, and handed me the hot end that had been facing the stove. I ended up holding onto it instead of dropping it, which made it worse. In conclusion, be careful when using metal bowls to transfer hot food. Don't trust that your partner is considerate enough to think about your safety. If you pick up something hot, you should probably just drop it, especially if it's just a cheap bowl. When I was 14 I was playing outside with a friend of mine and we were bored. Coming up with something Toto, we decided to play baseball with a basketball. So my friend chucked a basketball at me and I swung at it with a baseball bat. The first time it went well, we laughed like dumb as kids and did it again, only this time when I hit it the bat bounced back and smashed me in the nose. So I had to walk in and tell my mom that I thought I broke my nose, as I stood there with my hands over my nose and blood pouring out. To this day, easily one of the dumbest things I have ever done. A little bit of backstory. I used to always go through a tunnel which was a little bit shorter than me with my friends to get to a place where I'd spend time with my friends. This tunnel had small stalactites hanging from it, so one day I decided to run through it to get through as fast as possible because I was in a rush and lifted my head too high, which caused a stalactite to cut open all the top of my head. That wasn't the stupid part. When I got to the other side after banging my head, my friend announced to everyone that blood was pouring from my head and I got myself home. My mom wasn't in for the weekend, so I decided to just cover it in salt water and bandage it up, then make sure I stay awake all night instead of dealing with doctors. To this day, I've had constant nerve damage because of it, meaning that I can feel anything properly, so it's a constant dumb move from me. My family and I were visiting friends who had a farm. They had baby goats and of course we were dying to see them. The farmer dad told us we could run ahead, but wait at the fence because it was electric to protect the babies. We run ahead and my sister decides the fence is high enough for her big ass head to fit under. She tries and her hair tangles in the fence, promptly electrocuting her noggin. Here's the dumb part, I'm both surprised and fascinated by this. As the adults are running to save my sister, I want to see what it feels like and grab the fence with both hands. Now the parents are trying to get both of us off the ground to stop it from shocking us while the farmer runs to turn off the electricity. They freed us, but I think my parents took a solid pause to wonder what absolutely dolts they were raising. Luckily we're fine and no damage, but our parents made sure we got street smart as well as book smart. BTW, my 5-year-old brain said it felt like bats were flying through my hands. Oh wow, you made it to the end. Like and subscribe for more content like this. Also leave a comment down below letting me know what you want to see next. Thanks for watching.